Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. The school funding formula for the state is changing. There will be winners and there will be losers, but one school in particular is facing closure over the new formula. Scott Gershman is the president of the Teachers Association in Roosevelt Township, and Leo Gordon is a board member of Roosevelt Public School. Thank you both for being here. I really appreciate it. So what is the problem?
Well, the problem is that the new school funding formula has taken away about 15% of our budget, and we have no way of making up for those cuts. So we've had to, unfortunately, lay off some staff and programs for the students, which is obviously something that doesn't benefit the school as a whole, and the students are missing out on some valuable programs that we've had over the years, which have led us to the great success that we've had at Roosevelt Public School.
And when he says great success, you're one of the top schools in the state.
Absolutely.
But you're a small school.
We are K through 6. One of the best K through 6 schools in the district, probably in the state. We rank better than most elementary schools throughout the state.
If I could just add to that, according to niche.com, which ranks public schools, we are actually the #1 public school in Monmouth County.
So do you feel like you're being targeted for some reason? Like why in this new formula do you not have a safety net?
The new S2 formula is very hard to explain in just a matter of minutes, but basically it's based on enrollment,
right.
And our enrollment, because we're so small, it's hard for us to show growth.
But it's based on local taxes, too,
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. But you don't have a lot of people to tax.
We don't. If we tax at the top tax bracket 3%, we make less than $40,000. So that is the entire amount of money that we bring in from taxes.
But even if you wanted to tax at a higher rate,
we couldn't.
You couldn't do it because there's a cap on that.
Absolutely.
So you're stuck literally between a rock and a hard place. There's no way out of this dilemma.
Correct. I mean, we lost $150,000 for this coming school year alone, and that's just the first year. Then we're going to keep losing about $90,000 to $100,000 a year after that for the next 4 years, I think it is.
And our budget is so small already. You know, if you look at our budget for the entire school, it's equivalent to what most schools pay for books and supplies. That's how small the school's
Now, people
budget
are going to say immediately when they hear your story, they're going to say, oh, it's a small school, just consolidate. You should have the kids go to another school. What's the problem with that?
There's no advantage for another school to bring us in. Even though we're a great school, 100 kids, what is that going to do for the other school? They usually, when you're consolidating, you're looking for the resources from that other school. We have one building. And the building is so far from most of the ascending districts, it's no advantage for them to utilize the
So it would be a real hardship for the parents to get to another school.
It certainly would, and based on the Board of Ed meetings that we've had since this news came out, I mean, the whole town has showed up. The town really centers around that school. It is really the only building in the town. If you've ever traveled to Roosevelt, the only building that gets used is the post office. So that school is kind of the center of the entire town, and it's a historic place. It's on the National Registry and the State Registry. And if anything were to happen to that school, the town itself would really suffer as far as its identity and its future.
Well, the town would basically close up.
Absolutely. There's no advantage for anyone to live there if the school closes. All the families that have joined us in the recent 2-3 years has joined us because of the school system. The reason why I moved there about 12, 13 years ago was for the school system.
And it probably keeps property values up because you have a good school, and those property values are going to drop as soon as if the school were to close up, I would think.
Drastically.
The school is so good, I understand through the Choice program, there's a lot of parents that want their children to go to that school.
Yes, about a third of our student population comes from the Choice program. And we would love to have more. What we're hoping for, one of the outcomes or one of the possible solutions to this is that the commissioner would lift the cap on choice students. If we could just bring in more students, we would not be in such the financial trouble that we are. And we would love to teach more students and fill the school with more kids and educate them to the best of our ability, which apparently is very good. So we would, again, love to have more students.
Do you have room for them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How many kids could you take?
We could probably add comfortably another 40, 50 students in our school.
So that's double the number of choice students you have now?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We could certainly take on, we have about 30 now, we could certainly take on another 40.
Would that solve the problem?
For the moment, as long as choice stays funded.
Right.
So that's a fix right now. But overall, a real easy fix would be an amendment to this law. Just look at the amount of money that the school makes. Schools that make $10 million, less than $10 million, if they're not affected by that, that will fix the problem. Because small schools that have small budgets are affected by this drastically.
But I can't see how it would that negatively affect another school district to lose 40 to 45, because they're not all going to come from one school district, right? I mean, it wouldn't have a negative effect on another school district.
Absolutely. Absolutely not.
Right.
The school districts that are losing the students, they're not complaining.
So is this a possibility?
Our hope is that it is a possibility, that right now there is a cap. We cannot get any more students. So we're hoping that, along with all the school funding cuts, that someone would say, well, an easy solution to this would just be to lift the cap, and hopefully someone, the commissioner or someone else in the
But who
DOE
fight
would be able to do that.
It would benefit kids that wanted to go there. I'm sure there's parents that wanted their kids to go there that couldn't get in there. It would benefit the town. It would benefit the school. Help me. What's the negative? Who would it hurt?
I believe the problem is we're thinking about money as opposed to thinking about children. The law, the choice program, all of these things don't take children into account. We're penny pinching on education like we do a lot in the country, and it's hurting the kids. If someone stopped and said, hey, this school, a #1 school in New Jersey, is about to close, and we said, what are we going to do with these children? As opposed to talking about the money, let's start talking about the children. That will probably get people to start thinking differently about how we fund programs and how we move money for the children.
All right, that's a perfect way to end this segment. Thank you so much. I
Thank you for
appreciate
having
you
me.
being here. Please let us know what happens.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Scott Gershman, president of the Teachers Association in Roosevelt Township, and Leo Gordon, a board member of the Roosevelt Public School. Jersey Matters continues right after this. Still to come on Jersey Matters, people affected by Sandy are finally getting their money. We'll explain why when we come right back.